Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Scrutiny. Today we're going to be analysing the game between Borussia Dortmund and Barcelona. A great game, highly tactical this game. Borussia Dortmund lined up with a 4-2-3-1, high attacking fullbacks in Guerrero and Achraf, two hard-working centre midfielders in Delaney and Witsel, also very good on the ball. Reus, of course the captain, in the middle, with Hazard and Sancho both really quick in transitions, especially Sancho, and up front Paco Alcácer, the reference for their counter-attacks, quick transitions, aiming to get the ball into him to offload into those three attacking players. Barcelona lined up with a 4-3-3. They had plenty of possession, although couldn't finish in the area, accumulated plenty of players in the middle of the pitch, but after the substitution of Jordi Alba after his injury, they were less effective down that left-hand side, and Achraf, the right-back from Borussia Dortmund, was very effective on that side. In the middle of the pitch, the three midfielders were constantly harassed. Arthur and De Jong, Fati and Griezmann worked really hard in defence, helping out the defence to prevent them from being in 2-against-1 situations, and rather rarely, Luis Suarez was up front on his own and quite isolated at times. Okay, so looking where the teams interacted with each other, here we've put the systems together and we can see the blue highlighted areas where there was numerical equality. So quite easy for Guerrero and Fati to line up, Achraf and Griezmann, Sancho and Alba, Hazard and Semedo, and with Reus there with Busquets and Delaney, Witsel, Arthur and De Jong lining up in the middle of the pitch. The numerical equality came to an end though with both centre forwards playing on their own against two centre backs. Okay, so this is right from the start of the game. Barcelona kicked off and played the ball back to their centre back, and immediately we can see that three of the front four from Borussia Dortmund jumped out to press. Keep an eye on Hazard. Keep your eyes on Hazard because he doesn't jump out as far, and there's a really important tactical reason for that. To be able to understand why Borussia Dortmund jumped out with three and left Hazard a little bit further back, we need to take a look at the structure of Barcelona's team. So here I've highlighted the two centre-backs, Piqué and Lenglet, Jordi Alba and Griezmann on the left, Semedo and Fati on the right, and then Suarez up front on his own. It's quite easy to see that the strongest side of the pitch for Barcelona is that left-hand side where we've got Jordi Alba and we've got Griezmann on that side. So I've highlighted there the red arrow from the pass from Lenglet to Jordi Alba. That's a pass that they want to try and stop. They want to try and stop them coming down that left-hand side. So now when I put those yellow players back in, but I've also put the centre midfielders from Barcelona back in as well. And we can see that run from Reus is trying to block the pass into Busquets. Alcácer, also getting forward, is covering De Jong and also coming up towards Busquets as well. And of course, a pass through to Arthur can't come about because Reus also is there. Sancho is also pressing that pass to Jordi Alba, and that only leaves the centre-back with a couple of options. Or make a pass to one of his other defenders, either Piqué or Semedo, or play the ball back into his goalkeeper. So it's at this moment here we can start to realise what Borussia Dortmund are trying to do. So we've already said that Barcelona's strong side is their left side, and we said that Hazard isn't pressing as far forward, and that's because he's fixing on to De Jong, waiting for a pass to come into that right hand side where they can hope to trap Barcelona. So if we have a look at Reus, he's arcing his run to try to force Lenglet into playing the ball either to Piqué, Semedo or back to his goalkeeper. And that's exactly what he manages to do. So here we can see that run. That pass into Busquets can't quite make it into there, so he's only really got the chance to play it out into Semedo or into his other centre half, which is being pressed by Alcácer, or to play it back, a safety pass into his goalkeeper. So that's what he chooses to do. I also want to highlight the distance now between Reus and Busquets, because as soon as this pass is made, Alcácer is going to press the goalkeeper and Reus is going to go on to Busquets. Alcácer with his line of pressing is trying to press the goalkeeper into making a decision to pass it towards the right hand side of the pitch. Okay, so here now we can see that movement from Rose onto Busquets, Alcácer pressuring the goalkeeper and forcing him to play the ball into Piqué. And we can also now see Hazard on the left starting to move up the pitch to press Semedo, forcing Barcelona into that corner. We can also see Delaney is now moving across because he's going to try and cover De Jong and prevent De Jong from playing out as well. Okay, so Piqué is being forced towards the wing by Alcácer, Rose is on top of Busquets, Hazard is closing down Semedo, and like we pointed out, Delaney is now moving in with De Jong. And I've also highlighted Witsel and Sancho because they're on their way over to that side. So as you can imagine, Barcelona have now got players on their left side of the pitch, on Dortmund's right side of the pitch, who are free, but they can't receive the ball because they're being trapped into that corner. Okay, so I've highlighted in blue the strong area for Barcelona, where they've got 3 players without anyone near them, and then in that right side of the pitch of Barcelona, hardly any space because of the way they've been pressed into there, and this is where they're able to recover the ball early on in the match. Okay, so you can see how tight and compact it is into that corner. So really nice early press from Borussia Dortmund to try and prevent Barcelona from playing down that left side. When Barcelona were trying to play out from the back, the main defensive aspect from Dortmund was to try to stop Busquets from playing. They did that by putting Rose onto him, and in this image we can see that they've jumped out to press Barcelona, force them backwards, and this time we see Hazard on the right hand side of the pitch instead of Sancho, but again high and allowing that ball to be played out onto the right hand side and not the left, to try and prevent Barcelona from playing down that strong side with this time Semedo, but also don't forget Griezmann down that left hand side. This diagram just shows how they were trying to prevent De Jong from playing and also reducing that space around Busquets with 3 players staying tight to him and preventing him from playing. Okay, this is another example where they've pressed Piqué and now Alcácer is going to jump onto the goalkeeper, but notice how his run is preventing a pass coming to Busquets, and of course Rose, as soon as Alcácer leaves Busquets, he's now going to move on to him to try and prevent him from playing, try and prevent that pass into Busquets so that they can't play down the middle of the pitch. Okay, so when playing out from the back, Borussia Dortmund, they used high fullbacks. They weren't in line with their centre-backs, forcing Fati and Griezmann to press them, allowing Barcelona then, if they recover the ball, to have Griezmann and Fati in high positions. By having high fullbacks, you're forcing Griezmann and Fati back into positions where they don't really want to be if Barcelona are going to win the ball back and mount a counter-attack. And now with the ball on the right side, with the right centre-back, we can see that Arthur is higher up the pitch than De Jong. And this basically means that when he's going to press the centre-back, that now with Rose dropping into the middle of the pitch, that Barcelona are in numerical inferiority in the middle of the pitch, which favoured their playing out from the back for Borussia Dortmund. Okay, so here we can see the image on the pitch where Arthur jumps out to the right centre-back. Griezmann and Fati are further back than perhaps they would like. Suarez is linking onto Hummels, De Jong onto Witsel, and Busquets is there responsible for 2 players, Delaney and for Rose. And that allows Borussia Dortmund the opportunity to play out from the back against the Barcelona press. When defending deeper, Barcelona were faced with a 4-4-1-1 defensive system from Dortmund, 2 tight lines in front of their own penalty area, with Rose just sitting there in front of Busquets, preventing Busquets from moving forward, allowing only really sideways passes. The fullbacks for Barcelona, they weren't incisive enough, and Fati and Griezmann had difficulties with the fullbacks from Borussia Dortmund. Okay, so here we can see that position from Rose, and hardly any Barcelona players inside that block from Borussia Dortmund. One of the attacking points from Borussia Dortmund was the overlapping fullbacks. Here we can see Achraf overlapping Hazard and forcing Griezmann into hard-working defensive actions to prevent a 2-against-1 on that side. Good work from Griezmann, but you prefer him to see him attacking, using his energy in attack. Okay, so here we can see that area where really we prefer Griezmann to be in that higher position. You prefer him to be there than Arthur high up the pitch, which was the case. Again, another example of Griezmann dropping back really deep to defend, preventing Roberto from being 2-against-1 with Hazard and Guerrero. Borussia Dortmund during the game, what really impressed me was the amount of players which they got into the box. All of the times that they got towards the box, there was always around 4 or 5 players from them into the area, and making it really difficult for Barcelona, because it meant that their 3 midfielders all had to get back, and also Griezmann working back hard as well. Another example here, 4 players from Borussia Dortmund in and around the area, and again that back 4, and also 2 of the other outfield players dropping back to help out Barcelona. Another example, here the fullback drives inside and you've got 4 players waiting in there, but also look at the amount of Barcelona players that drop back into the box. Really good work from both teams, really interesting tactical battle. After losing the ball, Borussia Dortmund was so intense with their lost possession pressing, or gegenpressing as you might want to call it. Here Delaney loses the ball and De Jong is going to receive it. Witsel will then jump onto him to try and press the ball back straight away and try and force the ball backwards into the Barcelona half and prevent them from playing forwards. And here we can see Delaney moving in, Witsel moving in, and Reus moving in as well. Really tight and really intensive pressure after losing possession. This is another example where Hazard loses the ball, and look at the players in around him. Straight away, 3 players jumping onto Busquets when he's got the ball, preventing them from playing forward and trying to make them play backwards. So in conclusion from the game, we can say that the high fullbacks from Borussia Dortmund forced Griezmann and Fati into defensive positions where they didn't really want to be. Constant overlapping and runs forward from those fullbacks prevented them from being in situations to counter-attack quickly. The high intensity pressure after losing the ball from Dortmund prevented Barcelona from playing forward quickly. Dortmund getting into the box with a lot of numbers, forcing Barcelona's players even further deeper into their own half, something which they're normally accustomed to doing to the oppositions themselves. The high pressing from Borussia Dortmund, trying to prevent Busquets and Piqué from playing out, and also trying to force Barcelona to attack down their right hand side, their deemed weaker side, and of course Jordi Alba coming off the pitch affected their attacking play because he is so effective down that left hand side. And of course that deep defence, the 4-4-1-1, tight defensive lines in front of their own box, and Reus just sitting in front of Busquets trying to prevent him from playing. All these factors led to a very entertaining 0-0 draw.